trying to march towards the heavily guarded Israeli embassy in the capital Amman. Dr. Naseer AlOmari is with us to talk a little bit about Jordan. Good evening to you.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
How worried is the king about a spillover of the Gaza war?
He's very worried. He has presented himself lately as a supporter of Palestinians. Even Queen Rania, who usually doesn't come out strongly against Israel, she has come out and condemned the violence and what's happening to the Palestinians. At the same time, we know that King Abdullah coordinates closely with the Israelis, and the relationship is stable. The borders are stable, and there's also economic cooperation. The king is very close to the American perspective on what should happen. However, he has a population who are not happy, who do not feel represented by the king. And therefore, you see, this dissatisfaction with the king. Despite dropping aid and acting as if he is a protector of the Palestinians, people can see through all of that. He doesn't have any real impact on what's happening in Gaza. And therefore, you have security forces clamping down every time the street comes out to protest his lukewarm attitude toward what's happening in Gaza.
So there's a sort of a double play by the king. You've mentioned his wife. She was speaking against Israel very boldly lately, but there are some shared interests still.
Definitely, I would categorize King Abdullah to be in the same position as Israel. He is dealing with the threat coming from outside. You have the threat of Iran, and he has the Muslim Brotherhood who have a lot of support in the street. So he has to, and his wife has to sound like she is pro-Palestinian, when in fact they're really anti-Hamas. The king himself condemned Hamas in front of the White House in clear terms. However, that sentiment is not shared by most of his people. So this is a country that is definitely on the edge of challenge when it comes economically. Young people are not working. There is no opportunity. 50% of the young people can't find jobs. So there are a lot of sticks and not enough carrots for the Jordanian people to stay quiet. There is no economic future. There is corruption. The king himself is accused of corruption, according to the Washington Post. And therefore, Jordan is in a very delicate situation. And the king has been dealing with this relatively effectively. But that can change if the situation in the Middle East continues to escalate.
So how could... all right, let's go to the other way. What could turn things around positively?
Well, Jordan has a problem with refugees, refugees upon refugees from Syria, even prior to that, Iraq, Yemen, Libya. There are refugee camps throughout Jordan. And Jordan does not have a real economy. It's dependent on some U.S. aid. There is no real investment going on in Jordan. And really, young people, as you can see, you have a lot of security forces. The Jordanian army is strong, but there is no real economy. And therefore, this is dangerous, what's happening in Jordan. And anything can happen because young people are desperate. Jordanians are suffering, and there is no solution to the refugee problem in Jordan. So, a peace deal in Israel and ending what's happening in Gaza is really critical for the king and critical for Jordan.
All right, Dr. Naseer AlOmari, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.